Tracy Clayton.
And I'm Josh Gwynn, and we're the hosts of Back Issue.
We're back with Season 2.
You can remember the name of our show, Back Issue, because we're back for Season 2.
And we have issues?
Not wrong. We're going to revisit moments in pop culture we all think we remember and learn what they can teach us about where we are now.
We're going to talk about Whitney Houston, food you used to love, your favorite and forgotten singers of the 90s and the 2000s, and more.
So join Tracy and I with Back Issue Season 2. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Hello, friends. It's Gavin Dawson from the G-Bag Nation. The last thing you need to deal with is being involved in a car or truck wreck. But if it does happen to you, Tolos, call the team that's had our backs for over 25 years. I'm talking about our friends Mark, Scott, Gene at Franklin Frankel, the car and truck wreck injury team at truckwreck.com. Being involved in a car or truck wreck is serious, so you need serious representation to make sure you get the compensation you deserve. Call our guys at Franklin Frankel, 214-333-3333 or truckwreck.com, Principal Office, Dallas, Texas.
To hockey now is George Richards. Nobody covers the Panthers better than him. George, how you doing this afternoon?
What's up, my man Zaz? What you doing?
Well, I'm happy about what the Panthers are doing. Is what I'm doing, man. Like this feels like a real good momentum that the team has right now. Like I feel like it was a good look for them that they ended up losing to what ended up becoming the Stanley Cup champion, and I feel like they skated scot-free past the expansion draft because they lost Drieger and you knew they weren't going to re-sign him, and now they're already starting to make moves. So let's actually start with the Drieger thing, okay? I was actually worried going into it because when you see the list of players who were unprotected, you can't protect everyone. I was worried that maybe they're going to take Carey Price as the goaltender, and then they'll take either Frank Vetrano or Radko Gudas, who are both left unprotected and would be nice little pieces. Do you think there was any internal concern from the Panthers that they were not going to take Drieger?
I think that the Panthers knew all along that they were going to sign Driegs. It sounded like that Driegs had a deal in place last week. Basically after he was allowed to start talking to Seattle, he pretty much came to an agreement with Seattle. And I think the concern anytime you have an expansion draft is, Driegs was a free agent. They could have just signed him on Wednesday and taken somebody from Florida and then got Drieger. So Seattle did Florida solid, and we thought it was going to cost the Panthers a draft pick, a player, something for that honor. And then nothing happened. They just took Drieger, and that was that. So I guess Seattle was worried that Driegs was going to hit the open market, be a hot commodity, and wanted to lock him in when they did, and Florida didn't lose a thing. I thought for sure, Radko Gudas might be the guy going to Seattle. You see how they're loading up on defensemen. I think Gudas would have been a breakout star in Seattle with his big hits. You saw how popular he became in South Florida. He would have done that in Seattle. Like you said, they come out of this thing unscathed.
Now they're going back to regular divisions and the regular playoff format, right?
Yeah, everything goes back to normal. The Panthers will be back in the Atlantic Division with Montreal, Toronto, Boston, Buffalo, yada, yada. Tampa Bay, of course. And so, it goes back to the normal thing. The top three in each division make the playoffs. And then in each conference, you have 2 wild cards, so a total of 8.
So we just get the news here, or at least I just got the news. I mean, I got a press release here from the Panthers that they re-signed Sam Bennett to a 4-year deal. Why? He was so good for the Panthers, and obviously they feel strongly enough to give him a 4-year deal here. Why did the Flames let him go?
Well, he really it's kind of hard. Let's not forget he was the number 4 overall pick in the draft, the 2014 draft, of which now the Florida Panthers have 3 of those top 4 players in Ekblad, Reinhart, and now Bennett. So there was a lot of pressure on him to become a breakout star. And then Calgary's got him on the bottom 3, 2 lines, playing wing on the 3rd line and centering the 4th line. And he really stood out in the playoffs for Calgary. But during the regular season, he was kind of a pedestrian player there. And I think that, Calgary was like, okay, he's never going to evolve into anything more. Let's trade him. Florida gets him, puts him on the second line with Jonathan Huberdeau, and the fireworks go off. He scores more goals and points in 10 games with the Panthers than he did all season with Calgary. So, this was just your classic change of scenery and change of circumstance for Sam Bennett. He's obviously a talented player. He wouldn't have been drafted as high In Florida, nobody cares where he was drafted because Florida didn't draft him there. Calgary did, and it just didn't work out there, but it certainly worked out the little bit he was here in South Florida.
And another really young player, another 25-year-old, just like Sam Bennett. They traded for Sam Reinhart from Buffalo over the weekend. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm, some type of expert and been following Sam Reinhart, but I look, he's scored 20 goals multiple times. He scored 25 goals this year in a 72-game season, so that projects close to a 30-goal scorer. How did the Panthers get him for, virtually nothing?
Yeah, they didn't really give up anything. And if you can lock up Sam Reinhart, which it sounds like they're going to do, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a similar deal, 4 years, four and change for Sam Reinhart. And you're getting a guy who did perform in Buffalo. But that organization right now is just an absolute tire fire. It's so weird to see how good the Buffalo Bills are doing under the same ownership. And then you look across the street at the Buffalo Sabres, and they're just a mess. And I think the losing just got to a lot of those guys. There are a lot of unhappy players. They've already lost, two good players. They're probably going to lose their best player in Jack Eichel in the coming days. So they're looking like they're going to be an AHL team next year. But again, I don't know how the Panthers were able to pull this off. When I heard Friday what the return was, I didn't believe it. A first-round pick and Devin Levy, the seventh-round draft pick, who probably is never going to play in Florida because you got Spencer Knight here.
Yeah.
That's it. There's got to be more. There has to be more to this trade, and there wasn't. That was it. A first-round pick and a seventh-round goalie.
Yeah, and I saw the quote already from Sam Reinhart when he was asked yesterday about a contract extension, and he straight up said that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, it's not going to be an issue. It doesn't sound like, because you would have to think that the Panthers already knew that he was receptive to signing here. You don't give up a number one pick for a rental, or maybe you do. I don't know. If the Panthers think that they're that close and you think that this guy's just going to be a 1 year, 2 year rental, whatever it is, okay, that's fine with us. The draft pick's going to be in the 20s, you think, next year. Big deal. But you have to think that the Panthers feel that they're going to be able to sign him to an extension 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is. And if you're able to do that, this is a grand slam. You make that every single day of the week.
Is this team finally becoming like a destination for good players to want to sign deals?
It looks like it. They've got a billionaire owner who's very player friendly. He's given them all the little toys and trinkets that they want. He's spending money on a new facility. The facility that the Panthers have, the training facility in Coral Springs, is top notch. It's for what it is, it's great. But, now they're building close to Fort Lauderdale. They fly first. Everything the players have no excuses about what happens down here. And then years past, 10 years ago, this was a very cheap organization when it did non-hockey stuff, and it's not anymore. You've got a Hall of Fame coach in Joel Quenneville. They've got a front office, as many people in it as any team in the country. So they're spending money on the off-ice stuff, and the players notice that. This is a great place to live, everybody with that, but it's not a retirement place like it used to be.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, guys on their last legs would sign a 2-year deal with the Panthers, come and retire. Now you're getting 25-year-old guys in their prime wanting to be here, and it just shows what Tampa Bay's been able to do the past decade. If they can do it, why can't the Panthers? And it looks like the Panthers are closely following what Tampa Bay's been doing.
Now, is the Barkov deal next? What's coming up next for this team?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. The Barkov deal is going to be a much bigger deal. We're talking about the 8-year max. We're talking about a lot of money. And, technically, officially, the Panthers can't even start talking to Sasha about it until Wednesday afternoon. Now, of course, they've been talking. They know the numbers. We may see it Wednesday. It's possible that you get Carter Verhaeghe signed to a contract extension on Wednesday, and maybe they save Sasha for another day to kind of break up the news cycle. Plus, Barkov's in Finland. Maybe they want to do it here in Florida. Maybe he has to fly here. I don't know the specifics, but a deal with Barkov. He's signed next year, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, they'll get him done eventually. And it may just be, 12-1 on Wednesday. They announced Sasha Barkov.
George Richards, FloridaHockeyNow.com. Again, nobody covers the Panthers better than George. He's been doing it for a long time. George, tell everyone again how they could sign up for Florida Hockey Now and continue to follow what you got going on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, just come on over to FloridaHockeyNow.com. A lot of the stories are up right now. Sam Bennett's stories just come up. The other RFA stuff is up. We've got stories from throughout the weekend. If you want to subscribe, it's not very much money at all. $3.49 a month. $29.99 for the year season pass. Come in and join us. We're having a lot of fun with the Panthers this year.
Great job, George. Appreciate you. Good stuff.
Thanks, Zaz. See you, buddy.
All right.